Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have a battle report for you between Todd's Viking Dwarves versus my Araby, and it was meant to be a banter battle report the night before we drove to Ohio for Buckeyes the GT. However, due to getting new microphones, courtesy of my fiance Sam, I kind of lost a lot of the audio, a lot of feedback and wind, so you're going to hear Todd's voice at least for his army introduction. However, for the rest of the battle report, I'll be narrating as best as I can. So I still hope you guys enjoy the video. Moving forward, I will definitely work on it. It was an enjoyable time to record and a lot of funny comments Todd made. So I do apologize about it. But regardless, here is a 1,000-point battle report with the new 1.5 edition. So guys, we have Todd's beautiful Norse-themed Dwarf Army, and it's 1,000 points. So I'll let Todd maybe start by his two characters and make his way through his army.
So my first character with the hammer there is a Thane with a great weapon, full plate shield. He's my general. He's got the Master Rune of Grommel on his armor. It's for a 2-up armor save, and he has a Rune of Fury on his great weapon. And then that Runesmith is really a BSB.
Yeah.
And he's got a great weapon, full plate armor, a shield, and 2 runes of stone, which are a single reroll on a failed armor save. And then the big dwarf unit to the left there. Yep. That is 20 dwarf warriors with heavy armor, great weapons, shields. They're drilled. They have a champion. They have a standard with the rune of battle and a musician. That's my core. And then I have to the left of them, my special. I have 12 hammers with great hammers. Heavy armor, shield, drilled, world champ, standard bearer, musician. And then the Iron Drakes right there, he's showing. They have hand weapons, Drake guns, full plate, drilled. Champion with cinder blast bomb, standard musician. And then I have a dwarf cart with the +1 movement.
Yeah, so it's a lot of dwarves for 1,000 points. And I'll show off my Dark Elf / Araby army. And again, I want you guys to note, Todd did a lot of non-metallic on all of these little dwarves. So we'll be back. So guys, I have my 1,000-point Araby / Dark Elf army. So to start it off, Midas over here is a Death Hag with the Rune of Cain and the Executioner's Axe. My next character is back there. It is Suleiman the Saracen. He is a Dark Elf Noble, the hero, with a full plate, lance, and just the 5-up ward save for Talisman of Protection. He has a unit of 5 Cold One Knights with full plate, lances, and pretty much that's it. I do have 10 Blackguard with full command, no drilled, and they have full plate. Then I have 10 Dark Elf Warriors, full command with spear and shield. Then I have 5 Shades back there with just repeater crossbows and additional hand weapons. And my last unit is the 12 Witch Elves with full command, and they have the banner of Hargarath just for additional AP -1. The army is exactly 1,000 points, and I'm excited to play Todd, and I'll show the table after this. So guys, here is the table we're playing on. It is a 4-foot by 4-foot table. We have 2 hills and 4 impassable pieces of terrain. The 2 tokens you see with the orange circles are the objectives. We're playing from the new match play guide. However, instead of the objectives being 30 points every turn, because we're playing 1,000 points, we reduced them to 15. And beneath that centerpiece, we both put down our secret objective. And once we end the game, we will reveal it to each other. And moving on to deployment, I have on my left flank my unit of Lastro Lupintal, the Blackguard. In the center, I have my Death Hag and the Witches / Eunuchs. Then a unit of my 10 Araby Spearmen / Dark Elves. On the hill, I have my General with the Cold One Knights. And near Todd, I have my 5 Shades who did a scout move. Then Todd has in the center his unit of 10 Iron Drakes. Then on the objective is his BSB with the 20 Warriors. The pony cart is behind the Longbeards, and his hammerers with his general are drilled. So pretty generic deployment, and really excited to get the game started. Turn 1 went to Todd and his dwarves. So again, this is a voiceover. I will be forgetting a couple of things as I have to recall what happened. So Todd starts by moving the unit of Longbeards, or the Iron Drakes, pardon me, up the table. I think Todd is deciding that trying to get in a better position to shoot next turn is better, but at the same time, I know Todd believes, and through experience, the Iron Drakes are very good in combat and can hold their own, especially in a 1,000-point game. Then moving to the Hammerers with his general, he just marches them up because they're in drilled formation. This guy is deadly strong, and I know I have to pay attention to it. These guys can hold their own and possibly kill my whole army if I'm not too careful. Then moving to the pony cart, I believe Todd just moves it behind the Longbeards to provide that movement buff, with his warriors kind of shuffling a little bit. We didn't measure exactly because it was less than his march movement. He just wants to claim the 15 VP for the turn. On to the beginning of Araby, I have to take a stupidity check on the cold ones, and because I was recording, you're going to see a jump forward, and for my stupidity, I do pass it so my cold one knights can move freely. So after my turn 1, the shades had moved up and are going to shoot in the shooting phase. The cold one knights moved about 10 inches away from the warriors, so I have a decent charge. My spearmen, I believe, held the objective, while my death hag and the blackguard marched up aggressively, as I want Todd to charge me, or potentially if he doesn't want to charge, I'm in a better spot for next turn. I can't afford to sit back with the Iron Drakes prepared to shoot me. Moving to the shooting phase, my shades have 10 shots with repeater crossbows. I'm hitting on 4s with a -2 from moving and multi-shot. I land a decent amount, I think 5 hits here. And because they're strength 3 to toughness 4, I need a 5 wound. I get 3 wounds surprisingly, and 1 with armor bane 1. So let's see what Todd manages to roll for his saves. And Todd does fail 2 of them, so I do manage to kill 2 dwarves from my first shooting. So to recap turn 1, pretty straightforward. My shades picked off 2 of the warriors, my cold one knights and my death hag and blackguard are in a good position up the center, while Todd did have a strong force also to meet my center. So pretty excited to see the 2 battle lines clash now. So on to Todd's dwarf turn 2. It's a very simple turn. He declares a single charge with the hammerer unit into my witch elves, and the rest of his units will do nothing else, as I think Todd likes his position, and the hammerers, I believe he knows, can almost delete the unit in 1 round of combat. You're going to see him put them in a drilled formation, and once he does that, he will move them forward into the witch elf unit. So this will be the only combat of the turn. Moving on to Todd's shooting, you're going to see his 10 Iron Drakes declare a shooting attack upon my 10 Araby Spearmen, and it's going to be pretty deadly as I know these guys hit extremely well and they have high AP. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Todd's going to have 5 or 6 in range, and you're going to see the dice rolls in about a second. Moving to the dice rolls, Todd's going to be rolling 5 plus the champions with 6 total dice, landing 4 good hits and then wounding on 2s because they're strength 5 to toughness 3. So I will be losing 4 of my dark elf spearmen. That will cause a panic check as I lost 25% of the unit. I am actually not in range of my general, so my leadership will be only 7. And luckily, I do pass the roll on a 5. Moving straight to the combat phase, I should note there's a big discrepancy issue. In the 1.5 edition, you do not get Frenzy unless you charged. Todd only caught this basically 1 whole turn afterwards, so I got 6 extra attacks, which I did not mean to get. So I do apologize about that. What you're watching though is my Death Hag has 3 attacks base and only got 1 extra attack from the Rune of Cain.
you should ignore one of the dice because I don't have Frenzy. They wound on 2, so I got 4 wounds at AP minus 3 because the standard adds an additional AP. And Todd, I think, fails all of them. So I think 4 of the dwarves will succumb to the Death Hag. Again, I did slightly cheat with the extra frenzy, but we both didn't know until we checked the new FAQ. And on to the next batch of dice. My Witch Elf is in a challenge with his general. I land a single hit, and it's poisoned, so I get a +2 to wound. So I need from a 6 down to a 4, and I roll a 1, so I did not wound his Thane. In response, Todd gets his, I think, 3 mighty attacks back. He's hitting on 3s, or 4 attacks, apologies about that. And he wounds on, I think, 2s, and he gets 2 overkill total. So that's his total combat res from the challenge. And once again, I have a big note. You shouldn't see this many dice. So I broke it down. The teal is the guys in base to base. And as per the new FAQ, my supporting guys get their 1 supporting attack. However, the front rank shouldn't have 3 attacks each. It should just be 2 attacks each. So in total, instead of, 12 plus, instead of 18 attacks, my guys should have only 14 attacks, which does change things quite a bit. But anyways, I need 4s to hit. You can see I land quite a few, and I get 4 poisoned attacks. Then at strength 3 to toughness 4, I need 5s to wound. So I get 2 wounds here. And for the poisoned, they need 3s to wound, if I'm not mistaken. So the 5 attacks are AP minus 1 because the standard of Hargarath adds AP minus 1, and Todd fails just, I believe, 2 of his saves. So didn't do so much damage, but I do know the extra dice definitely did change the outcome slightly. Moving to the combat resolution, this was a big mistake once again. Todd only caught it when we finished the game, but his guys have, I believe it's called Shield Wall. They shouldn't actually give ground. So ignoring all of this combat resolution, we made a mistake. I did in fact beat Todd. He will end up popping his stubborn and just fall back in good order 3 inches, and I will pursue, but this whole thing should have been changed. Technically speaking, with Shield Wall, these guys would stick where they are, which would have prevented my Blackguard from making a charge in my following turn. So slightly of a big deal, and I do apologize about that. Moving to Araby turn 2 now. I passed my Cold One Stupidity, you just saw that, and you're going to see some charges. Again, the Blackguard should not be here, but again, we only caught it after the game. So in this very moment, they made the charge, and my Shades made an insane 11-inch charge into the flank of the Warriors, and my Cold War Knights made an easy charge into the front of the BSB unit as well. Moving to the combat for Araby turn 2, we're jumping straight into the Thane versus my Death Hag and Blackguard unit. Again, technically this combat is illegal and shouldn't have happened, but we're going with it. So my Death Hag will finally get frenzied because I did follow up. I got 2 extra attacks with the Rune of Cain, so 6 total attacks. The Death Hag is hitting on 3s, but without hatred because it's not a first round of combat. I managed to get 3 hits. Then with the Executioner's Blade, I am wounding on 2s. I get 3 total wounds at -3 AP. Todd, I believe, needs 6s, and I do get 3 more wounds with the Death Hag, so it's helping me quite a bit. And moving to the Blackguard, I get only 5 attacks for the flank. To make a long story short, I whiff everything. I don't do a single wound, so I'm not even going to show off the dice rolls. And moving back to the Witch Elves, this is where we caught the frenzy problem in real time. So to make up for it, these are all the attacks I would get from the front rank. However, I am going to reduce 1 attack per guy as I'm not getting frenzy this turn to make up for the previous turn. And rolling the dice, I get quite a few hits. I get 5 hits. 1 is poisoned. These 4 need 5s to wound, getting none. And the poison with the +2 needs a 3 to wound. I land 1 wound at -1, and Todd fails it, so we do kill 1 more dwarf warrior. And with the hammerers attacking back with Todd's Thane, he does a total of 6 wounds to my witch elves. However, to make a long story short, due to the combat resolution, the standard, and my ranks, I beat Todd by quite a bit. He ends up rolling a 10 and actually flees. I will pursue with both units, and the witch elves do catch the dwarves on a 5 on the pursue roll. And this was a pretty big moment throughout the game as Todd just lost his general. The points kind of swung in my favor, and I felt pretty good. However, I have still no answer to the Iron Drakes, as I kind of knew what they could do for the damage output. And once you see the next combat, you'll understand why I got nervous. So moving to the combat with my Cold One Knights into the Warriors, I have 3 attacks from the Noble and 2, 4, 6 attacks from the guys. So the Master needs 3s to hit, only getting 2. With Lances, I'm Strength 6 to Toughness 4, needing 2s to wound. And Todd makes some insane armor saves to all of my Lances. The other 6 attacks roll, I think I need for them as well 3s to hit, because I'm Weapon Skill 5. Pretty bad roll, to be honest, but it's okay. And Strength 6 on the charge, needing 2s. I do 2 more wounds, but again, Todd managed to make both saves on a 5+, so he kind of bounced my Cold One Knights against the unit. So guys, to recap the long combat, basically what happened was my Cold Ones themselves didn't do much damage. My Shades did another wound. Todd managed to kill 3 of them through the Shades and doing no wounds to my Cold Ones. Maybe he did a wound. Long story short, he beat me. The Shades gave ground by 2, and the Cold One Knights fell back in good order, and he followed up. Moving on to Todd's Dwarf turn 3, he's going to declare a charge with his BSB into my Cold One Knights, and the Iron Drakes are not going to move. They're going to unleash a volley upon the Witch Elves with my Death Hag unit. So I think he does actually move, in fact, 2 inches back. Pony Cart looks at the Shades, and everything is set, ready to go. Straight to the shooting, Todd's Iron Drakes get, I believe, 9 hits, a single one misses. The champion hits also on a 3, and all of these are going to have to be kind of randomized because I have less than 5 unit strength in the unit. And when he goes to roll, he essentially kills all of the Witch Elves and does a wound onto Midas himself. Moving over to the Cold One Knights, they do swing first because of the High Elf or the Dark Elf initiative. I'm rolling it all together. I'm hitting on 3s, and at Strength 4, I'm wounding on 4s, but I'm murderous. We're using the hand weapon, so I can reroll the 3 misses, and I surprisingly get 6 wounds onto his Dwarf Warriors, which was a bit unexpected. Then Todd has to make his saves, and he does manage to fail 3 of them, which is really cool to see. In response, Todd's Thane BSB gets, I believe, all of these hit or 2 hits, and with the Great Weapon, he gets 2 wounds. My Full Plate goes from a 2 up to a 4 up, and I believe I only fail a single one. Then my Cold Ones get quite a few attacks, 2 apiece, so I'm getting, I believe, 12 attacks. After I roll the 4s to hit, landing a pretty decent amount. They are Strength 4 to Toughness 4, so they need 4s to wound, and any 6s are Armor Bane 1. Get none there, but I do land 4 additional wounds. Todd needs to make some 5-ups, and I managed to kill a few more, so I did whittle the unit by quite a bit. And after the combat, with the new 1.5 infantry rules, Todd's little unit has quite a bit of combat resolution, plus his banner, plus his BSB. So even though I did quite a few wounds, Todd did pass, fell back in good order, and I decided to restrain and hold because I wanted to get my lance charge afterwards. Moving on to Araby turn 3, I have to take a stupidity check, and my leadership is 9, and I do pass it. So I'm going to declare a charge with the Cold Ones into the Dwarf Warrior unit with the BSB. Then my Shades in the back will also declare a charge on the rear of them, while on this flank, Midas, my Death Hag, plus the Blackguard will declare a charge on the Iron Drakes, which in retrospect I think was a huge mistake on my end, but let's see what happens. Onto Todd's stand and shoot reaction. His Iron Drakes get many hits in, and he needs 2s to wound. I believe after he rolls all of this, he gets 6 wounds on the Death Hag, who has no armor, thus he kills my killing machine. After all the reactions, my Blackguard hits the line of the Iron Drakes, my Cold One Knights and the Shades hit the front and the rear of the Dwarf Warriors. And for the combat, my Noble gets 3 attacks, the rest get 5 lances, so I'm really hoping these actually puncture through the Dwarven armor. And I'm hitting all of them on 4s, no rerolls, and with the lance I am wounding on 2s, so I get 5 good hits, I land 4 wounds, and Todd's armor, I believe he opted to go for, I think he has a 4-up armor save now, so he's looking for 6s, followed up by a ward save, I believe. Or maybe I'm mistaken, no ward saves, they're just the armor saves. And the next batch of dice are from the Shades, attacking from the rear. They just bring hand weapons, so they're hitting on 3s, and I am wounding on 5s, landing 2 wounds, but Todd gets his full armor save. These attacks have no AP, and he fails one and passes one. Now moving to the Cold Ones, they have 2 attacks apiece, so I'm hoping these 10 dice will carry me just like they did last turn. I'm hitting on 4s with the Cold Ones, and they are strength 4 with armor bane 1, so I'm wounding the dwarves on 4s, landing nothing, so they basically whiffed. So in response, I'm going to condense Todd's combat. He decides to put all the attacks he can into the Cold One Knights, and he puts the 2 dwarves into the Shades. Long story short, the Shades don't take any wounds from the dwarves, and from the BSB, the champion, and the front rank, he only manages to kill a single Cold One Knight. That's mainly due to the fact that I do get a 2-up armor save, so even with great weapons, I still have a 4-up save, which is pretty good. Moving along to the Blackguard fight against the Iron Drakes, it was really bad. The Blackguard has 2 attacks to the champion, and then 1 attack each, so I get 6 total dice. I am hitting the Iron Drakes on 4s, and I am wounding them on 3s. However, Todd gets a lot of attacks back, and I did nothing to him. I think I killed a single Iron Drake, and he gets 9 attacks back, landing quite a few wounds. My armor save is only a 4-up full plate, so I need 5-ups to survive, and I believe I fail 3 of these saves. So at the end of my turn 3, my Blackguard obviously failed. I fell back in good order, but Todd decided to hold back as he plans to just shoot them off the table on his turn. And on the other combat, you can see Todd's dwarves did fall back in good order. They went through my Shades, so I held on both units. I am expecting a counter charge with the Dwarf Warriors to the 2 Shades, which then he'll hit my Cold One Knights in the back. Onto Todd's Dwarf turn 4. He does decide to charge the pony cart into the Cold Ones because he can still see me in his front arc. He does need, I think, like a 4 minimum to make the charge, and then the Dwarf Warriors with the Thane and BSB will charge the Shades. So for the pony cart, Todd is about to roll the dice. I think in this he's talking about what he needs, and he lands it with the 6, so now my Cold Ones are going to have to fight this this little pony cart. So the idea is Todd wants the pony cart to hold down the Cold One Knights, get some impact hits in, then the Thane unit will kill the Shades, overrun, and help the pony cart against my Cold One Knights as well. And moving to the other flank, he is going to now go to the shooting phase. The Iron Drakes will let a volley, so 9 shots into my remaining 7 Blackguard. I believe the normal guys need 3s to hit with his 8 shots, and the champion, I believe, is BS5, so he hits on a 2. So 1 misses so far from the unit, and I believe he's about to roll. Oh, maybe he rolled it with the champion. Regardless, he lands many wounds, wounding on 3s. Those 4, I believe, are Armor Bane 2, if I'm not mistaken, and the rest are AP -1. This is the champion now hitting. So he hits and he wounds. So I took a total of 8 wounds, and I have to make pretty much all of these 5-ups. Don't make a single one, and the unit is completely dead. Moving to the combat now, my 2 shades will attack the Dwarf Warrior unit. They are hitting on 3s, getting 2 decent hits, and then I'm wounding on 5s with no AP and no Armor Bane. I land a single wound, and Todd actually fails it, so I do kill a dwarf before I'm cut down and gonna be overrun into the Cold One Knights. And on to the combat. The impact hits don't do anything to the Cold One unit. You can actually see one of my shades did live, and he ran through the Cold One Knight unit. And I'm rolling to get a couple hits in because I believe my initiative is still higher than his great weapons on his dwarves. But I have no lances, so I'm getting 1 hit so far. I do land a wound, but there is no AP on this thing. So again, Todd has a pretty easy armor save to make. And I should note, this is actually a challenge with his BSB to my master. And he did fail the armor and pass the 5-up ward save he has. But he gets only 2 hits onto me. And he lands 1 wound onto my master. And I pass it on a 5-up. The 2-plate armor save really does help Cold One Knights be more tanky. And after all the dust settles, Todd will win this combat. I will actually break and flee, and none of his guys can catch me. Onto my Araby turn 4, I have to make some rally tests. So for my master, we were talking through this. The game is wrapping up. It's only 1k. So once my master does rally, I'm going to hide him and the Cold One Knights behind the hill. And then I'm going to hope the point difference will win me the game. So I do decide then to move up my spearmen up the center of the table. They can no longer hold the objective because their unit strength is less than 10 now. So my spearmen made it to the center. I'm hoping for one last huzzah charge with them. And my Cold One Knights are here behind the hill, as you see. Todd wanted to note I am retreating, and he did call me a coward, but I can't afford my guys to get shot up by his Iron Drakes. And I'm keeping my spearmen hiding behind this impassable to avoid his shooting. On to Todd's turn 5. The pony cart is moving faster towards the cold ones, I guess, and he's kind of like pivoting it around, I guess. I don't recall too much again, as this game was recorded a week ago, but he is staring down my spearmen while his Iron Drakes are going to probably chill and maybe get some shots off. If not, then he's just going to hold them there and deny me the points. Onto my turn, you can see the pony cart is in a different direction. We did go back. I think Todd decided not to put the pony cart by the hill. There's no point, he couldn't catch the cold ones. So on my turn, I decided to charge the pony cart with the Dark Elf Spearman. And after he flees, I believe I charge into the Dwarf Warriors instead. I don't expect much out of it. I kind of expect myself to die. And here we have the combat, probably the last combat of the game. Got my Elf Spearmen fighting Todd's Dwarves. On to the last combat, my Spearmen get an attack first. I get a total of 5 attacks. I am hitting on 4s and then wounding on 5s. So it's a little bit rough. These guys have no AP whatsoever and they have no armor bane. So I am relying on Todd to fail. I did lie, I have another attack because a unit champion is base to base. So I land a single wound onto dwarves, and Todd actually fails it. So it's really cool that I can hopefully get the points for this unit. And Todd responds back. He actually doesn't land a single wound onto my Dark Elf Spearman, which was a little bit insane to think about. But he still has quite a bit of combat resolution. You can see him putting the dice down. I think he has the BSB plus the Rune of Passage or whatever. So I do fall back in good order. On to Todd's turn 6. His pony cart does rally, and pretty much we're kind of just talking what's happening. We go straight into the combat because Todd has nothing else to do. Pony cart can't charge. The Iron Drakes can't shoot anything. So it goes straight into the combat with the Elf Spearmen and Todd's Thane BSB with the Dwarf Warriors. And with my 6 attacks again, I land only a single hit this time. I was hoping for something a little bit better. And I think I just landed, I got 2 hits, so sorry about that, and no wounds. And Todd, with his mighty attacks back, he has been rolling a little bit poorly this game, but he does land 1 solid wound onto me. I will be failing that armor save, and I will fall back in good order. And onto my last turn, we just do 1 more combat. To make a long story short, my Spearmen actually kill the last 2 Dwarf Warriors, just leaving the Thane, so I will be getting full points for that unit. And with that, the game concluded. Todd did want me to record this. We somehow broke one of his dwarf guys, so we'll have to glue him back. But at the end of the game, the final score is on this little piece of paper. It was 579 to Todd, and I got 779. And with the new match play guide, it's really cool. There is a point, I guess, difference of how to play smaller point games like 1,000 points. So I did just get barely a minor win. Really fantastic game, and really enjoyable to always play Todd. You know, he's a fantastic opponent and a great hobbyist. So I hope you guys enjoyed the report. So sorry about the audio. I will be practicing this mic moving forward, but I hope you enjoyed this battle report.